Hi all, Marty here with Warehouse and Operations as a Career. I spent quite a bit of time on social media this week. If you follow us on Facebook, you may have noticed I'm a member or have joined quite a few jobs groups in the 5 states I work with, and really try and post when I know of someone hiring or participating wherever I can. Since the new year, I've seen a real influx with the number of postings from companies offering training for a CDL license in transportation or equipment certifications in the warehouse field. Not that this really bothers me or affects me, but I do want us all to understand what's being offered through them. When I saw how many replies they get and noticed the number of posts from individuals asking things like, "Where can I get forklift certified?" Or "Where can I learn to drive a cherry picker?" And "Where can I get my CDL license?" I feel these people are legitimately asking for help, and I'm not sure they're receiving it, or in an unbiased form anyway, or at least in some instances. So I kind of pushed back the topic scheduled for today, and I'd like to share some thoughts on these 2 avenues to employment. Probably good choices for some, but possibly not for all of us. You know, social media can be the tool for us as job seekers, but I feel it can also, and many times, can get us off track or kind of urge us to go down the wrong path when trying to get our career started. Experience and responsibility are the 2 components I believe in and found to be the actual fast-tracking tool. Let's look at this scenario real quick. The boss's son has been away to college for 4 years, only worked in the warehouse during his summers in high school, kind of knows how the freight comes in, that it's stored in the racks and it's shipped out when a customer orders it. Now, he had a hand in all the tasks before, physically moving the product through the system, but not really on a day-to-day routine. Anyway, he's graduated now and coming back to work with the crew. You know, everyone thinks he's a great guy. Doesn't come off as a know-it-all in any way, and he definitely has the training and education to review the P&L or profit and loss statements, contracts, and turns out he's a pretty good negotiator or salesman to the customers, but his expertise or experience in the warehouse or on the floor activities are going to be really lacking. He won't know how to turn a pinwheeled pallet inside a trailer without breaking it and damaging the left corner's freight, or how to slide a leaning stack of product back onto the pallet without having to restack the whole thing. And what about placing a small piece of wood between the trailer decking and the dock plate lip so we can drive our equipment in and out of the trailer without bumping the whole pallet apart? Things like that and about 5,000 others just aren't taught at most schools. Experience is how we learned. So this gentleman has been given the title of warehouse manager, but I feel that he's really going to struggle maintaining the productivity and handling the crew and daily operations because he's still going to have to learn the task or the job at hand. Is it going to frustrate him? Make him work twice as hard? Really kind of wear him out? I believe it can and probably will. He's been trained and educated to view and handle things like a director would. He knows, and might I say, he's comfortable with those tasks because he has that training and education. Now let's change the story just a bit and say that he had worked in the warehouse during high school on weekends and after school every day. He had unloaded trucks, received the POs, ran the product from the docks, racked all the pallets with the forklift, and pulled orders and shipped orders for that same 4 years. Went off to college and was trained in the same qualities we discussed earlier. I feel he'd be a great warehouse manager, a much stronger director because of his experiences, right? I guess what I wanted to talk about are perceived shortcuts to our careers today, so I'll get back on subject. We'll finish that story on another episode. It actually does go somewhere, and I think that little piece kind of fits in with today's topic. Or maybe, anyway. So, while I was running through the feeds, I saw one ad stating something like, "Learn to drive in 21 days, 0 cost to you, solo and team drivers." And most, if not all those type ads will mention something about home time. Now, it's not a bad opportunity for the right individual. Upon looking into the offer, in this particular case, the program was paid for through some sort of state or federal funding program for jobs, which I really feel is a great thing. but we're going to be working for their company while we earn our CDL or commercial driver's license. It seems to be a really decent program for that individual that can be away from home quite a bit, willing to get the needed miles on the road and the experience of drop and hook transportation. These jobs will pay you pretty well in a year or two. You'll have the license in 21 days. I guess the question is, do you accept the position and the pay that goes along with it? Another ad stated something like CDL training, route, regional, and national driving positions, home time teams, and solos. It seems like these schools range in price anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, and I'm sure they're worth it, if only because of the all the one-on-one training, instruction, and safety considerations that's presented to us. Upon looking at some of the job referrals they'd be offering, I saw those road mile opportunities. Home time was there, but it's kind of in small print. I think we all understand, at least deep down inside us somewhere, that these types of opportunities can be both advantageous to us or really kind of a hindrance to our real pursuits. The real money we're looking for is going to come a little later on, after we have the miles, the deliveries, the experiences, and learn the responsibilities of the job. In my experience, companies are not going to hire us because we possess that CDL license in our hand alone. They're going to put someone in their company's rig or tractor and trailer that they've invested something like $140,000 or maybe more in, and loaded with freight that they're responsible for, that has the experience, the years of experience with a safe driving record and delivery experience first and foremost. And I'm seeing the same question regarding our equipment certification for warehouse equipment. As you may know, this one really kind of irks me. So the ad typically goes something like, forklift licenses in 1 day, earn up to X number of dollars an hour. We help you seek employment. The certification is a regulatory requirement here in the States, and your employer, or at least 99% of the time, is going to train and certify us for free. We should have the training to be on his or her dock. And there's a well-known component to the standard that will have to be on-sited or observed on the dock that we'll be working on to complete that certification process. I've seen the cost of these schools range from things like $88 for just an electric pallet jack or a forklift to more like $189 or really more depending on how many types of equipment they're going to certify us on. Now, these classes aren't really a bad thing all the way around. I think they're a great refresher course as they pertain to a specific type of equipment, kind of an overview or review of the operating manual, and the safety refresher is definitely worth the cost. But let's be sure to do our homework, our research, and know again what we're getting for our hard-earned money. I read so many comments and replies on jobs groups this week where people paid for a class and are hearing through their job searches that you need 1 year or 6 months or 2 years of experience for those well-paying positions being advertised. Please don't misunderstand me. I think both these driving schools and certification classes have their place and in many instances can help us achieve our goals. But please make sure we've researched them and know what we're getting out of them and how we are going to make them work for us and to our advantage. I've found those referrals that are offered are sometimes just a list of trucking companies that are continuously hiring or staffing companies that presently have ads that are running. We've talked about social media now in a couple of different episodes. Sharon, a recruiting specialist with a large national sourcing company, Belmar Integrated Logistics, walked us through how to better use social media when we're responding to recruiters and handling that phone interview and what she looks for in that stressful and sometimes agonizing face-to-face interview that we all dread. One of her points was experience and how different companies look at experience levels when filling positions. She mentions how there are just no shortcuts to experience. Again, social media is a great tool for us job seekers, but I feel it can be a distraction if we're not careful with it. I saw so many individuals posting this week of how they've applied for a position and are waiting for a call back, been waiting for a couple of weeks. They were told that they have the job but have to wait for that position to open back up. Sometimes they've even sent their friends to the same place, and now they're waiting on a call also. let's make sure that call's really coming before you quit searching and applying for jobs. That would really have to be my advice. Okay, back to today's topics, I guess. I see or hear from at least one person a month that's walked into an agency or company with their operator's license in hand, stating, "I'm ready to go to work as a Lyft driver," only to be told, he or she doesn't qualify because they have no verifiable experience. Oh, a true story, real quick. Last year, a friend's son shelled out $2,700 to take a CDL course. It was really a good course, and they taught him all about the equipment, hauling, backing, all the regulatory information he needed to know. Really a thorough class or a school, I thought. I was honestly impressed with his education. Even with his father's contacts, though, within the industry, he had to sign on with a company, kind of at the bottom rung, and start putting in his time, building that experience. Now, he was far from happy with his starting pay. He won't really be happy with his pay for a couple of years, but then it'll all be worth it, as after you have some bankable experience, it can be a great and very rewarding profession. If you're a long-time listener with us here at WAOC, you know we believe the wealth comes from knowing all the positions that your task touches, adding those values to your resume, and believe that you'll increase your earnings with that knowledge and experience. Mix in a little self-education, participate in all the shift meetings, show up on time for every shift, and make sure our bosses know our goals, and I can't help but believe we'll see success much quicker than the individual that believes he or she's found a shortcut. Experience and responsibility pays. I hope I made some sense today and you found some value within the show somewhere. If you're seeking employment, use those jobs groups on Facebook, but use them responsibly. I think they're great resources. Please like our groups. WAOC can be found using the little @ WHSEANDOPS on Facebook and Twitter, and we're having a lot of fun with the Warehouse Equipment Operators Community Group on Facebook as well. Oh, and email us with any thoughts or suggestions to host@warehouseandoperationsasAcareer.com. We love reading all your messages. Thanks for listening in, and not just good luck, but a wish for great luck with your job search or that promotion that you're chasing. And as always, remember, safety is our first responsibility in any task that we perform. Let's all think safe and be safe this week.